datihan waray panyulanda damo ang isda. Yan na ini tagdirigyo na la dirigod asin tagdaramo iton isda pero mahal.
Kasi hindi lahat ng pangingisda ay pagdating marami ng isda, marami na silang kita, hindi pa yun. Kung minsan zero balance sila pagdating galing sa laot.
Sa aking pagiging fisherman po, so aking na-experiensyahan na kung hindi po nating pangangalagaan ang ating yamang dagat, ay unti-unti po itong mauubos.
Our local communities are the frontliners to the impacts of climate change. Giwan is the place of first landfall of Typhoon Haiyan, and they are seeing so many different climate impacts here in their area. So the vision is that in the next few years, Giwan has adjusted to the things that are happening here and built the resiliency from all communities across sectors. There's a tendency to not move, mostly because of lack of capacity to actually roll out these projects and programs. Here in Giwan specifically, that was one of the more interesting approaches to tackling this, is coming up with cooperation platforms.
This cooperation platform is a multi-sectoral group among different NGOs, different national government agencies, coming in together to pool resources, capacities, and then to come up with responses for whatever calamity or disaster that we are bound to encounter in the future.
Well, when you talk to people from the community, you see more of the conviction in them. This is something that they've taken to heart. How much climate change has affected them as a community, how much it will affect them for the years to come, and how important it is to actually see that these plans are turned into action.
We invited other groups, the people's organizations, from the grassroots, from farmers, from fishermen, other groups as well in the community. We can say that this recovery and rehabilitation plan came from the people themselves. The difference when you actually involve people from local communities is that they have some ownership of the plan, and they own it.
This is something that they came up all together. When you go to the meetings, you actually see how each and every one of them has a role, and each and every one of them knows that they're part of the process.
In that platform, it's actually very freewheeling discussions of ideas. It's not structured. We actually present ideas, and then we present tasks that are to be done, and then we plan how we're going to do it. Then when we're happy with it, we present it to the local government, and then the mayor will endorse it to the legislative council, and then it becomes a part of the local government plans, and then.
Something we're very proud of here is what they're calling the climate change adaptation framework. Giwan is the first community to do something like this. They focus on what are the impacts that they're facing, and what are their current capacities, what's being done about it, and what needs to be done about it. And then they identify priority areas that need to be focused on, and from there create strategies to answer those problems, to address the issues that they're facing.
We started with the Giwan Recovery and Sustainable Development Group. That was for recovery and rehabilitation. And then CORDAID came, and then they said, would you like to have this platform expanded into resilience? And then the mayor said, okay, we can have this platform expanded into resilience, because that's where we're going to.
The platform started creating a space for the farmers, creating a space for the fisher folks, for the sea wardens. It really started at how do we develop a space that they could cooperate with each other, and looking at the resilient in island. So we started building island resiliency in the Calicon Island.
It's very interesting how CORDAID capacitated our farmers and our fishermen.
Kailangan kailangan ko bantayan yung karagatan, yung ating ecosystem para makasustain sa family ko at saka hindi lang sa family ko kundi sa community na kung saan lahat po ng community lalo na dito sa Giwan ay dependent po sa rekurso ng dagat.
When the partner policy started, there are only few volunteers that what can we do about our remaining coastal and marine resources. So these few volunteers started to work together, started to raise that issue that can we stop illegal fishing? Can we do something about the remaining resources? Can we do something about for the next generation? So this what where the partner policy do something about capacitate them.
Doon po nag-umpisa yung Marine Sanctuary na kung saan nakita ng mga expertise natin yung corals na nawawala na dahil sa devastated ng Bagyong Yolanda at saka ng maraming illegal fishers.
So with these fisher folk, they created a mechanism called the Sea Wardens Group. It's composed of different barangays in one island. They volunteered themselves. They want to protect the remaining coastal resources.
Sa ngayon po, yung active member ng SBDSAN ay, yung ginagawa po namin ay nagpapatrolya sa MPS opo, para makita kung saan yung mga nag-illegal.
Okay, copy. Nandiyan na.
At pag nakita namin yung mga nag-illegal, ina-apprehend po namin. Tumatawag kami ng backup sa police station para magkaroon po kami ng police assistance para pag-apprehend sa kanila.
Kailangan natin puntahan sila doon.
Noon po, nag-umpisa pa lang yung mga sanctuary natin, marami po yung death threats sa aming mga fish wardens. Pero hindi po kami sumuko doon dahil sa gusto namin na marami po ang magkaroon po ng sustainable na fishing. Bali yung marami pang pagbabago ang naganap nung magkaroon ng mga MPS tayo dito sa Giwan. Sa ngayon po yung ating mga illegal fishers is kukunti na sila. Natuto na rin sila na pangalagaan yung ating kapaligiran para po sa susunod po na henerasyon. Ating makikita ang corals na nagre-recover, malaki na yung kanyang pag-recover. At saka yung makikita natin na maraming isda na talaga. Ako po ay nagiging proud po ako sa pagiging sea wardens ko kasi kung walang sea wardens po, so sino po yung magpo-protect ng ating ecosystem at paano po mabubuhay yung mga nakarely doon sa pangingisda.
One thing that I'm incredibly proud of here in Giwan is how the community has really come together. You see it manifest in many different ways, how the Bantay Dagat come together and now they've formed this well-oiled machine of, 24-hour surveillance of their marine protected areas. And they're very proud of it. And they should be, because little by little they've started to see the fruits of their labor. They're forging ahead with these things, with, very sure of their plans, because they know that it's come from a very good place, from an evidence-based approach.
Ang profesyon ko po ay mangingisda. Para akon masakit kay an nga tananhan manaragat an iraw na huna puro illegal. Pero kami an huli pa, ipinakikita namon haira nga there is may da panginabuhi nga legal nga makakabuhi. Ang huli pa po ay samahan ng mga mangingisda na specifically na ang kanilang pamumuhay ay hook and line.
The Hulipa is a fisherfolk organization with focused on business. They market fish and they profit.
Ang pagnenegosyo namon tikanghan pagpalitan isda nga dihan amon mga mangingisda, tapos kami na ang nagbabaligya ngadto ha ibang mga lugar o dinhi pagpaangbit han aton barangay. An isda igawas dinhi ha barangay, paangbiton anay ang taga barangay nga na konsumo han mga mamaralit han isda.
Hulipa started marketing fish from their among members, ensuring that it is sustainable fishing practices been practiced, and ensuring that there will be fish in every family because they're ensuring the lower price catches from the members. Because the problem in island is mostly controlled by big businessmen, and this is one of the model that community can work, can develop a business.
Ang una nga dinidirian namon han illegal fishing, especially ang dynamite, kay nakakasira ang mga corals, ang isda ti pahirayo. May da namon mga members nga tikang liwat ha illegal fishing nga na-convert hira, inaakay niya gin uupod hiya ngadto ang panagat nga masanay hiya. Nag-umpisa ang hulipahan ang mga members ang hulipa in 52 members. Pero yan na iton active na la 39 members. Ang tinanggal namon na iba, tinanggal hira kay illegal fishing. Sanctuary na ang Burunayan han Sulangan, ang pinakadako bugos nga Pilipinas. Amo ini an binubuligan han kuan usaan hulipa. Kay ang mga bantay dagat tawon hulipa amoin an kadakan nga mga bantay dagat intika nga hulipa members.
And one of the provision of Hulipa is really to allocate 5% of their funds to be given to the Sea Warden in terms of operation and management. The 5% is not through cash given but through in-kind like rice, coffee, gasoline. And it's not just Hulipa but the other women's group, even the farmers. They are allocating 5%, 2%. Just a small money just to continue, just to provide a support for the Sea Warden. In other words, they creating a space to work together.
Karamihan dito yung mga mag-iisda. Yung mga asawa nila, pumapalaot talaga. Tapos, since maliit ang income, lahat ng mga asawang babae, nagkaroon sila ng ideya na magkaroon ng farm. So, ang farming namin is malaking tulong kasi kahit wala silang wala silang huli, nagiging isang paraan na maitulong sa pamilya yung pagpa-farming. Mayroon na kaming pangbinta, mayroon pa kaming pangkain.
This community of Giwan are dependent on fishing. Most of the food are coming from outside. The alternative of income is through farming. Farming in the island is quite very difficult because one is there's no space. Second, the type of the soil that's more sandy, more salty, more acidic. But Leticia started with small farmers group and now they're moving forward. They're now producing vegetables for the community and every member has its own income. And that's one of the model that we want to showcase to the other communities that this could be a model in terms of resilience building in the island.
Pag yung nandyan ako sa farm ko, minsan nakakalimutan ko yung mga iba kong gagawin. Tapos minsan naabutan ako, hindi pa ako nakakapag-almusal. hirap na dyan, pero masarap pakiramdam. Masarap sa pakiramdam namin, lalo na pag nakikita namin yung mga pananim namin na they're growing, they're having blossoms, and then the next step is makaharvest ka ng maganda, makabenta ka, kakain ka pa ng masarap. Isa doon, nagpapasalamat din ako na nagkaroon ako ng medyo, since yung iba kasi wala silang sariling mga area doon sa sarili nilang farm, wala silang space. So, ako naman, ibinigay ko, na-share ko sa kanila na para magkaroon din sila ng pangkakabuhayan, hindi lang ako. Tulong-tulong kami lahat. Kagaya niyan, kung ako lang po ang gagawa sa sarili ko sa isang farm, hindi ko kaya po. Pero kung tulong-tulong po kami, lahat kami gumagawa, kumbaga mas marami kaming maitatanim. Masaya makipagbanding sa isang grupo. So, dito sa Sulangan, na kami, 23 ang members namin. Dati 13 lang kami, so ngayon medyo naengganyo silang mag-farm. Minsan pag mayroon kaming extra, pinaghahati-hati namin yun. Minsan bibili kami ng red soil. Since yung yung soil namin is napaka-sandy, tapos acidic, ang ginagawa namin, nagmi-mix kami ng red soil kasi mas healthy yun na soil kaysa doon sa permanent na soil namin na sandy. Pag i-mix namin yun, medyo gumaganda. Mas maganda ang tubo ng aming pananim. Well, pag halimbawa magandang harvest namin, bibenta namin dito, ilalako namin sa community lang. Maganda kasi hindi na sila pupunta sa dahil hindi na sila pupunta ng market kagaya ng Giwan. Bibili na lang sila sa aming produkto. Since passion ko ang pag-farming, iniingganyo ko lahat na huwag kayong mawawala ng pag-asa. Sa farming, mayroon kayong kikitain, pampahaba pa ng buhay, masarap ang pakiramdam nyo. Nakakaramdam na rin ako ng medyo pagod. Minsan nandoon ako sa duyan. Dahil pakiramdam ko minsan ang sarap ng buhay.
Well, what they're doing here in Giwan is magnificent in a way that, they're bringing in so many different actors. All these people who have a stake in the problem. All of these people who see the value of the problem. And they're working together to make sure that this actually gets implemented throughout their community. Because at the end of the day, they're the only ones who will be complaining or will have a problem, right? So you see it all over, across the board with people involved, that there is a lot of pride in what's happening. Although there are a lot of steps forward, a lot more that needs to be done, but the process in itself is taking good strides and very important strides in terms of turning local planning into a collaborative effort and then taking lessons from local communities and turning them into national policies and national changes that can actually help improve the situation and make sure that our frontliners to climate change actually get the help and the resources that they need.
This is where the Partners for Resilience do. Making sure that their voices are heard, making sure that they're empowered, making sure that they could act together, and making sure that the LGU could listen to them, and even eventually creating a model, creating a stair that the planning, the investment should not be coming from top, should be coming from the bottom itself.
So our work here with Cordate is trying to create avenues, positive avenues for LGUs like Giwan to be able to go through that process and ultimately access the funding they need to make sure that the plans that they're coming up with actually see it through to implementation and don't just stay as, plans on paper.
I'm actually proud of what Iwan has done already. The results and the products of the platform are there. We hope that with this preparation that we are having now, we will be able to say that we have already achieved the resilience that we want to achieve.
We are able to engage national governments. We're able to raise voices in the international scene. But more importantly, we're able to work on the local level. We're able to work with people like RECTI and the Bantay Dagats and local governments and actually help them say what they need to say. And, it's not our voices that are central to the discussion, it's their voices. And they need the avenues to make to make their voices heard. And I think the value of that kind of work, the value of what that can do is absolutely beautiful.